Good morning there, little Fluffy. Good morning there, little Fluffy. Freaking Toby, dude. They love whenever I open the garage in the morning. Watch them. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, shit! Oh, yeah, sprinklers on. Yeah, they don't like when I got the sprinkler on. Good morning, dude. Good morning, dude. Good morning, dude. You're so wild, bro. Well, crap. I guess this thing isn't balanced anymore because I went and chucked it. I'm just playing. Where we're going with this, I don't think it's going to really matter if it's balanced. So, my idea here is I want to cut this thing down and make myself a temporary drive shaft until we make it down to a drive shaft shop and actually like have a safe one made. But this thing only needs like a couple of inches taken out of it. I figured I could chop it and just weld it myself. You know what I'm saying? So I was looking up on the old Google machine how exactly you figure out what size U-joints you need. So I need to go down and get some new universal joints. The only thing that I'm confused about is both of these are 3 and 5/8 the width, and then both of them are 1 1/8 inch, the cap size inside. If you go down there and look at that one, it's the same size, but these are press-in, where the one that's on the transmission down there actually has that clip that holds it in. So I don't know if that is going to require like a custom U-joint or what, but we're gonna figure it out, man. I got my measurements. I made myself a little freaking diagram, 3 and 5/8 and 1 1/8 cap size. So we are gonna run ourselves to AutoZone. I have also got to go and return my pulley puller because I want my $65 back, man. I'm back. Alright, dude. Why are you sniffing me like that? They smell Nina. They smell Nina. They had to stop by Gabby's house. They're like, hey, bro. Why do you smell like a female dog, bro? Why do you smell like a female? Why you smell like a bitch, bro? What's up, man? Alright, so I ran to the auto parts store. I had to return that tool back to O'Reilly's. That's where I got it from. And O'Reilly's had 0 U-joints in stock. And then I had to go to AutoZone. Continuing with our bug saga around here. What's up, dude? What's going on? Before I get started on measuring for this and seeing how much it is I need to cut off, I have some buttoning up I need to do underneath the truck. Also, by the way, as you guys know, I got the power steering all filled up and stuff in another video. We have a leak, and I think my steering box needs to be replaced. Either that or rebuilt, but right here where the steering shaft actually goes in, it's leaking from there, and I have a bucket hanging off the suspension right here. Look how much it's already filled it up, bro. It looks like maybe the leak stopped, though. Maybe it's because I overfilled it. I don't know, man. Either way, I was looking it up. These things are like $200 freaking dollars, bro. Anyhow, moving on. Spider webs, spider webs. Can never get away from spider webs, man. Kick my light on. Which, by the way, now that I had the opportunity to use these lights for a while now, I can actually give you guys a true review on them. This thing has been freaking amazing, bro. But if you do pick up one of these lights, I recommend that you get 2 of them, because it kind of sucks whenever the battery dies. They take a little while to charge, I've noticed. But if you have one on the charger and when one dies, you go switch them out, then it really affects you none. But yeah, I'd recommend you get 2 of them if you end up using it as much as I have been using it. It's like a freaking lifesaver for me. But anyhow, I need to find somewhere. I need to like strap these up somehow. This right here is the bleeding valve for my internal slave throw bearing. I need to find somewhere to actually mount that so it's just not slapping around. And I need to get this kind of mounted up somewhere as well, so it's also not just slapping around. And then I need to kind of massage this brake line over, because it's going to be really close to this downpipe for this header right here. And then need to hammer this pinch frame right here for the firewall. I need to hammer that. It doesn't look like it's in the way from down here, but if you look at it from up above, it's very clearly in the way. So this needs to be hammered and clearanced. Other than that, I think that's about it. That's everything I gotta do to button up down here. I'm not sure exactly what this bracket right here is for, but I'm gonna pop this off. Oh, that's tightened. Ow! I was thinking I could use one of these bolt holes and put a strap right here, but I think the straps that I have, these freaking bolts are too big. But then I was also looking at this. I wonder if I just turn this around and point it that direction, if it would hold the hose somehow. Turns out this bracket is going to work out. I drilled a hole in it so I could put one of these Hakko bushings in there. So that hole is big enough for the bushing to clip in. The only problem is this bushing, the inside diameter, is too small for my hose to fit through it. So yeah, that's too small and it won't fit through it. So what it is I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna actually put a slice in this and put this over the hose first, and then I'll have to put the fitting through that hole and then clip the Hakko bushing in, because that hose will fit through the outside diameter, but it won't fit through the inside diameter. Alright, now I'll go ahead and bolt this thing back up in here, but backwards. I disconnected the line up there from the master. Now I can go ahead and slide this through that hole, and then that Hakko bushing is just going to pop right in to the hole that we drilled. Oh, I put it on backwards. Son of a bitch. Alright, I really like how this came out. So that freaking grommet that I cut, it just kept falling off. I think it's because obviously I cut it. But check it out. I went ahead and I split a hose and put it over my line and have it running right centered of the area that the line sits inside of that hole, and I put some zip ties, so that actually came out pretty clean. But that hole that's on the front right there that was already in this bracket that we flipped around, that actually works out to be perfect to put the bleeder in. So that thing would just slide into that hole, bam, just like that, and just holds it there. So whenever I do need to bleed it, I can still just pop this down and I have free range to put it wherever it is I need it, and then it just goes doink right up there out of the way. Crazy. You're so crazy, buddy. I love you. Oh, I love you. I love Toby too. I love you guys. I got the brake line massaged over out of the way as well. That was like right in front of that header flange. That was actually really easy. There was plenty enough slack in it, just kind of bend it over out of the way. Now I do plan on wrapping with some header wrap. I need to wrap the pipe down there. Once I make some more clearance up here with my steering shaft and shit, I do want to wrap the headers as well, just to help keep the heat out of the engine bay and keep the heat off my brake lines over there. But now I need to try to hammer that pinch frame up out of the way, make a little bit more clearance on this side. All right, I showed you guys that I got that brake line out of the way. This is the one I was referring to. So it was coming like right here, and it was like right in front of this flange. And boom, boy, what's up? Not only do we have clearance, but I also went ahead and I put that little section of pipe that the headers came with. It came with that section of pipe along with the V-band. So, and there's also a place for us to, oh, that's loose. I may as well just take that off, because we know that son-of-a-bitch is going to rattle out. That's the little plug for where the O2 sensor goes. I need to get a set of O2 sensors, but anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get this one bolted up as well on this side. I figured I may as well, so whenever we do go to do the exhaust, these will already be on there. And I got to clock these O2 sensors in the right position. We'll have to go and pick up some O2 sensors, because I would like to get those screwed in and get our harnesses plugged in, which is right there and right there. So I also didn't show you guys that from the harness. That's where the O2 sensors are at, in which I ain't gonna lie, I think I made a perfect amount of slack. And then coming back here is, this is the speed sensor that was on the LS harness, and that is, this is the problem with this light on my head, bro. It's trying to record, my phone casts a shadow. But that's the speed sensor that's on the NV3500. I do have the plug that plugged into this, and I believe it was also a 2-wire plug, same as this. I don't know. I'm going to have to do some more research and see if I can find something on that. Either that, or whenever we get this thing up and running, I'll just cut this off and splice that other plug in and just plug it in and try it, dude. Just send it, bro. What's the worst that can happen? Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and bolt this on right now. There it is. That's the best orientation that I can figure that would actually be able to get the O2 sensor on, and the V-band is actually accessible. So I'm going to go ahead and take this little block off for the O2 sensor out of this one as well, because I know we're going to lose it. And here's our view from the top. This is the driver's side. Can't really see a whole lot of it. There it is. And this is the passenger side. This is the side that took a whole lot of work to actually get that thing to freaking fit in there. But it's in there now. Wish that I would have known before putting the engine in, because I wanted to, more than anything, that thing a couple good freaking whacks, man. But you know what worked the best was the air hammer. I didn't record any of it, but the air hammer is what did the most clearancing. Doing my good old Google research, how you measure a drive shaft is you measure it from the center of your U-joint. So this little cross thingamabobber in here, that is called a U-joint. If you didn't know, I know a lot of us Honda guys aren't really familiar with this type of thing, but if you didn't know, that's what it is. So you want to measure from the center of the front one. This is the side that goes into the transmission, and you measure all the way back to the center of the back one. This is the one that goes into the diff. So from center to center, I got underneath there and I measured the blazer. I also jacked the rear end up, as you can see, because that just gives you more of an accurate measurement, because it can change as the rear end moves. From the U-joint that is still in the slip yoke underneath there to the center of where the U-joint goes in that rear diff, I have exactly 49 inches. So I went ahead and I lined my tape measure up right in the center of this U-joint, and if you stretch it across to the center of the other U-joint, we have exactly 53 inches from center to center. That means we need to take exactly 4 inches out of this drive shaft. Mark that 4 inches. I'm going to be using tape, but before I do that, I'm just going to take a regular piece of paper and wrap it around to make sure I get our marks square. I think this boy's a lot girthier than what I expected. I was expecting this paper to actually overlap, but the paper on here, we have the corners obviously lined up with one another, you know what I'm saying? So we know that that piece of paper is square going around it, so we know this is a good edge right here to tape to. Double check it, make sure that we are indeed at 4 inches. I want to put some kind of support on this side so this thing doesn't start like sagging as soon as we start to get to a certain point. Have to be right up against it, but something to catch it whenever it tries to pivot, you know? Instead of just moving directly to the next cut, I want to actually cut this section in half because I want 2 pieces of drop so that I can practice welding and get my settings right before we actually send it on the drive shaft itself. Wow, that's hot. We're going to be using our press stands once again. If you guys notice, there is a V-shaped on one side of these, and which is going to house our piece of angle iron very well. This is actually going to give me a really good surface for welding this back together, because now we can set these in here and I can clamp it to this piece of angle iron and it'll support it and hold everything nice and square. Of course, first thing I did is went ahead and I cleaned all of our edges up, gave it a little bit of a bevel so that it'll get a better weld. Now, I definitely forgot an important step before we went and cut this. Now, before you guys go and cut apart a drive shaft, you should put a straight line across it. So you want to use a straight edge and then you run yourself a straight line across. So after you make your cuts, you can line your marks back up. These drive shafts are balanced. If you go ahead and line the 2 sections back up relatively where they were before, I know even though we are taking a section out, that's going to be the closest you're going to be able to get to keeping this thing balanced, for one, and for two, the ends of these are supposed to be in line with one another, so they have to be square with one another, and that is what helps you not lose track of that. But since I made that mistake, I was going to have to, you know, kind of just figure it out. But I did notice on the inside of the pipe, do you see that factory edge right there where the pipe was actually welded together? So since this was one piece of pipe, it is fair to say that that factory edge right there was at one time in line with this one before we cut it apart. So I went ahead and I marked where that factory edge is at on the outside of the pipe. So now all we have to do is go ahead and butt those marks back up together, and the pipe should be in relatively the same exact place it was prior to us cutting in relation to one another. Man, had me worried there for a second. You see the gap down there? Yeah, well, I'm sitting on one of the weights over here. So I need to readjust everything to where we're not sitting on any of these weights, so this will butt up flush. There we go. Our marks are lining up, and we are nice and flush all the way around. Shaft is also sitting nice and flush on the piece of angle iron, so I know it's not raised anywhere. I made sure that it's not sitting on any of the weights. That is good to go, man. We are ready to go ahead and put a couple of tacks in some places. But before I even move forward with even trying to weld on this, like I mentioned earlier, I did cut the section that we took out. I cut it in half. I'm going to go ahead and go through the process of cleaning this up. And I'm going to do a little bit of practicing with my welder as far as settings and heat and everything. I want to make sure to do a good job on this. Like, it is going to be a temporary drive shaft, but you know, it's probably going to be on there for a little while, man. And I'm going to be honest with you, this drive shaft is probably going to have to make it through this thing's first burnout. So All right, I got all my practicing done. I'm not going to show you that. I don't feel confident about making this look good, but I do feel confident about getting good penetration. So, and hopefully not blowing any holes. You know what I'm saying? Because this is relatively thin. It's not sheet metal by any means, but you still are at a risk for blowing holes in it if you get too terribly hot and move too slow. Just wish me luck, because I'm freaking sending it. And I have officially welded up my very first drive shaft. It didn't come out too terrible. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I do think that the weld is going to be good and strong and definitely hold this thing together. Now, I don't know if it's going to be able to handle, you know, like 500 horsepower and 600 foot-pounds of torque or something, you know, but I'm sure it's going to be able to handle what it is that the Blazer is going to be capable of giving it for the time being. So like I mentioned, this is going to be temporary, but now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of clean it up a little bit. We got to put a coat of black spray paint over that bad boy so it doesn't rust. And then I got to move on to another learning experience. I've never done U-joints before. I watched a couple of videos on how to do it. Some guys are capable of making this look like a very easy process, but I have a feeling it's not going to be as straightforward as the videos that I have watched. But we're going to give it a shot because we have to. I want to get this thing on the Blazer today, hopefully. This U-joint right here is a internal C-clip style. Some of them have like a machine lip on the outside that has a clip that holds it in here on this side, but then some of them have a clip on the inside in here. God damn elote, man. Some of them have a clip on the inside in here, so to relieve the pressure on the clip, gotta hammer this cap down some. So this is actually my first time ever doing a U-joint, and it has proved pretty difficult to find even where the C-clip is at. I think this is it right here. It's really hard to tell also because this is so like packed full of freaking road grime and dirt and shit. But I'm thinking that's it right there. Maybe not. That's gotta be it. Let's see if it got more room for it on this side. Yep, there it goes. Ha ha! Hell freaking yeah there, boy. That is our C-clip right there. Come the rest of the way out. Shit. Oh. It went across the street. Alright, so that is what holds that cup in there. That's what stops the cup from going that direction. So now we gotta do the same on this side. Alright, once you get it all the way in, you pop the caps off, and then bang bang, there it is. We got the old one out. So obviously to reinstall it, it is the opposite. So we're gonna have to pop the caps off. So you take your caps off, say this is our brand new one, and then you slide it in here the same way this one just came out, and then we have to put these caps back on. So we'd put it on one side, hammer this in, and then flip it over, and then put this side on, hammer it in, and then you got to put those C-clips back in there to hold it all together so it doesn't fall apart. Before we do that, I'm going to get this all cleaned up really well. Go ahead and slide underneath there and grab our yoke out of the transmission, in which, funny story, I never mentioned to you guys, every time I have started this thing, this was rattling out further and further, and it was barely hanging onto the edge by the time I noticed it. That's why it's all wet underneath here. So whenever you pull the yoke out of the back, it's going to dump transmission fluid. So that's the reason why I got this little catch pan. But I don't get too tight. Oh, okay. There it is. I've tried and I can't seem to locate the locking pin on these ones. Little C-clamp. So I got this side done. You guys seen that? This side, however, been spending about an hour on it. It's not as bad as my wiring harness, but been pretty bad. I've hammered on it and I've hammered on it. So the only thing that I can see is this section right here, somewhere right here, has to be the locking ring, where this rubber section is the dust boot. I don't know, man. I've been picking at it and hammering on it and freaking doing just about everything I can. Even Braven came over here and looked at it with his young ass eyes. Look at that. Damn, bro, this camera can see a lot better than I can. Sheesh. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna keep working at it because we gotta get this off of here, and I have to install this one. Son of a bitch. I was kind of hoping that this was gonna be the same as mine, but no, mine is thankfully a lot girthier. You know what I'm saying? To handle more hearse purse and torques and whatnot. Yep, that's it right there, Becky. Almost there. Shit will stop falling all over the place. Oh, I think we got somewhere. Happy got to hang there, buddy. Would you look at that? So apparently this side doesn't have any kind of C-clips or locks or anything, because yeah, I didn't remove anything and it just popped right out of there. Alright, I don't think we're going to be able to get both sides off. I'm going to have to hammer this side through the other end. Mother trucker. Your boss, bitch! My pan back there, sir. I hope you're done leaking down here. Why'd you do it, dude? Why'd you mess it all up, man? You come up behind me and you scared me and you made me drop it. Yes, you did. You made me drop it. Alright, guys, well, I got some bad news for you. I mean, it's not terrible news. I kind of screwed this thing up. I was trying to hammer this thing in, and then one of the cups fell off and the needle bearings went everywhere, and I just wasn't able to get it back together the way that it was. So I need to run to a store and go and buy another one at AutoZone or something. That was the last one they had, so I'm sure it's gonna be a mission to get another one. Definitely my fault. I was trying to go through and see if I can use one of these old cups on it and just make something work, but dude, these things, like, I tried sliding this onto the new one and it just has a shitload of play. Like, it would rock back and forth, and I'm like, yeah, that's gonna last like a mile, bro, and fall apart. But yeah, dude, this is how far I've gotten. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here because I'm recording this same day you guys are watching this video. That's when all this is going down. So I got to get in there and get this edited up for you guys and posted so I don't miss a video today. And we'll pick back up on this tomorrow. I'm gonna go searching for this damn thing and find a new one, and then we'll finally be able to throw some paint on this and get it installed, and hopefully see those rear wheels turn all by themselves. Let's get a Braven update before we end the video, huh?
There's a lot of good things happening at the moment.
Yeah, so give them a rundown.
Alright, so
talk quickly.
It is running, driving, well, not driving yet. It's running good. I got the cluster and everything working now. I have fans which are now wired up and off of relays. The starter and everything cranks off of a relay as well. And what else? Oh, I'm modifying my pedal right now as well to mount it up. So right now I'm about ready to throw coolant in and get this thing to operating temp so I could
see if your temperature gauge is working and all that.
Yes, sir.
Hell freaking yeah, this thing is coming along. That is literally all the stuff that I need to do next.
Yeah.
It looks freaking stock, dude. That's what's dope.
I can't wait to get the intake made and then the
put a box in and stuff.
Sir.
Hell yeah. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for today's video. Later there, Braven.
Later, bro.
Later. Oh, we gotta do the rug head. Later there, rug head.
Later.
Pick back up on this tomorrow. Later. Time to go in the house. Puppers! Wow, man, wow!